everyone, welcome to iExamB. So in the last few sessions we have been discussing about the latest SEBI circulars. So we will continue the same in this session as well, and we will be discussing certain latest SEBI circulars through MCQs in this session as well. So let's proceed. So SEBI has come up with various circulars in the month of December as well. So one of them is related to the performance of evaluation of portfolio managers. So certain guidelines for portfolio managers for evaluation of their performance by the investor. So SEBI, after reviewing the requirement related to performance reporting and benchmark by these portfolio manager, has issued this circular stating that in addition to this investment approach, actually portfolio managers document their investment philosophy in investment approach in order to achieve clients' objectives. Now, in addition to this investment approach, there will be an additional layer of broadly defined investment themes called strategies, right, that will be adopted by the portfolio managers. Right, and each investment approach will be tagged to only one strategy and it can be picked up by the portfolio manager. So this question is, in order to help investors assess the performance of portfolio managers, SEBI has tightened the performance reporting and benchmark process. So how many investment themes called strategies can be adopted by the portfolio managers as per the new guidelines? So the answer for the same is 4, that is C, right? So there are 4 broad strategies, that is equity, debt, hybrid and multi-asset, to be adopted by these portfolio managers, right? And also as I said that while tagging this IA to strategy, there can be a IA can be tagged to only one strategy, not to multiple strategies, right? While tagging this IA to a strategy, the portfolio manager will also select the benchmarks which are prescribed for that strategy, so as to enable the investors to evaluate the performance of these portfolio managers. So 3 benchmarks for one strategy can be tagged, but while evaluating the performance, these investors have to select one benchmark, right? Because why this is a significant step in this regard is because if any multi-asset or any hybrid strategy is there and it is compared to any benchmark like an equity benchmark, so that would not be a fair comparison, because that will reflect the gross outperformance in bear market but underperformance in bull market. So having these relevant benchmark helps in the fair evaluation of the strategy also, right? So this circular says it all, that these kind of guidelines would be there in place so as to actually strengthen the performance evaluation system of these portfolio managers, right? And even Association of Portfolio Manager of India, which prescribes all these guidelines, also provide they also will provide the benchmarks for each strategy, right? So the next question is, portfolio managers must submit monthly report to Association of Portfolio Managers of India and submit to SEBI within how many working days from the end of each month? Right, so portfolio managers will also provide the time weighted return because their investment philosophy, that is investment approach, they will actually tell the report the time weighted return of their investment approach along with the benchmark against which it is compared with, right? So along with the trailing return of selected benchmark. Right, so all these reports will be submitted to APMI along with SEBI within how many days? That is the question. So the answer for the same is 7 working days, right? So these portfolio managers would submit the reports within 7 working days from the end of each month, and these reports would be made available on the website of Association of Portfolio Managers of India to facilitate the comparison for the investors. Okay, so the next circular was all about the clearing corporation. What this circular says is SEBI actually has put in place a framework for orderly winding down of critical operations and services of clearing corporations. Clearing corporation, they have certain critical services that they perform, right? They are definitely responsible for clearing and settlement of trades. They are responsible towards intermediaries like stock exchanges, depositories, and other clearing corporations, and they also deal in the risk management and the collateral management, right? All these kind of critical services are performed by them. So when these critical services, when the operations of these clearing corporations are wound up, then it will cause actually a disruption to the whole financial system of a country only, right? So that's why in this circular SEBI has asked these clearing corporations to come up with the standard operating procedure to provide the concrete information that how will they be performing these critical services and how the disruption of these critical services can be prevented, right? So as to avoid any disruption in the financial system. So the reasons for winding up can be any. It can be voluntary in nature, that clearing corporation themselves they took the decision that they don't want to continue in the business, or can be involuntary also, that it is a forced winding up by the regulator, or they might have suffered huge losses due to the defaults by the clearing members, or they must have suffered exorbitant expenses and they are not able to withstand those expenses like operational expenses or legal expenses, right? So for that they have to come up with the board approved any policy framework which will contain this SOP also, right, with details like their risk profile, whatever risk profile they are having, what kind of technology they have adopted, what is the backup plan they are having, whatever the financial and organization, in every detail about them, so as to understand that if at any point of time their operations are wound up or their services are wound up, then what decisions can be taken. So for this also there is one more condition, that they are required to continuously meet the annual clearing turnover of what amount in order to avoid compulsory winding up of its critical operations, right? So the answer for the same is 1000 crore per annum. Answer for the same is 1000 crore per annum. They need to maintain this annual clearing turnover, right? And if they make a default for the consecutive 2 years in maintaining the same, then market regulator can ask them to compulsorily forcefully wind up their operation. But this threshold will not be applied to those clearing corporations that are in the first 5 years of their registration. Okay, so next is within how many days clearing corporation has been asked to build a standard operating procedure for critical services rendered by them. So they have been asked to come up with SOP, standard operating procedure. So within how many days of issuance of this circular they have been asked to come up with this particular standard operating procedure. So the answer for the same is 90 days. So they need to make it available on their websites within 90 days from the date of issuance of the circular for the same, right? So another question is, which of the following clearing agency has been given a recognition by SEBI in January 22 as a clearing corporation for the purpose of clearing and settling transactions in repo and reverse repo in the debt securities that are traded on the stock exchange? So the answer is AMC Repo Clearing Limited, right? So SEBI had given a recognition to this clearing agency for undertaking repo and reverse repo transactions in the debt securities that are traded on stock exchange. So this circular is in continuation of the previous circular, that whatever is being asked for the applicability for clearing corporation like standard operating procedure, so this will apply to AMC also. Another is, which of the following services are being offered by SEBI in case of disruption of trading services provided by the trading member? So SEBI has introduced one platform in case any disruption of trading services provided by trading member, because of the rising technical glitches that happen, and all these technical glitches actually cause loss to the investors also. So that's why in order to deal with those situations, SEBI has introduced this platform that is called Investor Risk Reduction Access Platform. Right, this platform, it services will be provided by this respective, this will be developed by the respective stock exchanges, and it will provide an opportunity to the investors, right, to square off or close their open positions or cancel any pending orders in case of any disruption in the trading services provided by the trading member. Right, so trading members, they can ask for enabling these services specified by the respective stock exchanges from to time, and stock exchanges have to come up with a framework of that procedure, right? And then once the service is enabled, then all investors of these trading members will be informed either through their registered emails or their registered mobile numbers, or their notice can be placed on the website of the respective stock exchanges, right? So the migration will be there from trading members system to this IRRA platform, right? And then once the services are restored, even the reverse migration will happen. So all these guidelines and all this framework, the detailed framework, stock exchanges need to come up with, right? So another is, SEBI has notified new rules for asset management companies pertaining to the transfer of dividend and redemption proceeds to mutual fund unit holders. So SEBI has now reduced the timeline for payment of dividend to unit holders. So certain timelines have been changed by for the payment of dividends and redemption proceeds to these unit holders. So the timeline for the same for the payment of dividend was 15 days. Now it has been reduced to 7 days. It has been reduced to 7 days. Right, SEBI has reduced the timeline for dividend payout to 7 working days from the current 15 days. So new rules are for asset management companies. And also for the redemption proceeds, that what is the new rule now for redemption or repurchase proceeds to unit holders, how many days it should be made within, within how many working days this should be made from the date of redemption or repurchase. So the answer for the same is 3 working days for all the domestic investments. Like, so if the investments are made in certain specified overseas investments also, the permission for the same was given in 2007 by SEBI, right? So if scheme has invested at least 80% of its total asset in such permissible overseas investment, then in that case the period would be within 5 working days from the date of redemption or repurchase. Or in case if there is any delay in adhering to such timelines, right, for the transfer of redemption or repurchase or dividend payments, then interest rates at the rate of 15% per annum needs to be given to these unit holders along with the proceeds of respective dividend and redemption proceeds. Right. So as per the framework provided for index providers, a consultation paper is released by SEBI. Actually, index providers, we all know who are these index providers, which provide the indices like Nifty 50, right, and all these Sensex. These are very important indices because they give information about the sentiment of market, the investor sentiment, and etc. Right, but then these index providers do not come under the regulatory purview of SEBI. So in order to bring them under the ambit of SEBI's regulation, this consultation paper has been released, right? There are several globally renowned index providers. We know S&P, Dow Jones, Bloomberg, MSCI, so many, right? Like in India also, Nifty 50, it is given by NSE indices. Basically, these indices are given by either the subsidiaries of recognized stock exchanges or having a joint program between the subsidiaries and other organizations. So in order to bring more transparency and in order to increase the trust of the investors and also to make the markets more robust, this step has been initiated so that to bring them under the ambit of regulation of SEBI, right? Because these the services of these index providers are important. They provide not only, they determine the level of investments in the market, and also even the passive mutual funds also follow these indices, right, for their investment. So these indices are very important to safeguard the investors interest. So SEBI has proposed that regulations will adhere to the principle of principles of International Organization of Securities, International Organization of Securities Commission. Right, so for that certain requirements have been outlined, that these requirements would be there for these index providers to follow, and then consultation paper has been released to ask the suggestions about the required stakeholders. So one of that is, what is the minimum net worth requirement for index providers in that case? So the answer for the same is 25 crore. Here it is wrongly given C, it is B. Okay, so answer is 25 crores. So minimum net worth requirement from these index providers would be 25 crores, right? And another is there are certain other conditions like experience of these index providers. So for that also certain conditions have been outlined. So eligibility criteria, so apart from net worth also, the eligibility criteria is that it should be a legal entity incorporated under Companies Act in the country of origin, or any independent professionals offering benchmark services will be considered ineligible, right? So it should be a legal entity incorporated under Companies Act in the country of origin, and net worth for the same should be 25 crores. And also experience is that index provider shall have a track record of minimum 5 years of index administration, that is correct, or they should employ at least 2 persons each having minimum 5 years of experience to conduct the operations and business of index providers. So the answer is C, both 1 and 2. So these statements are correct. So as of now, this is it. So we will be coming up with other latest circulars also in the next sessions. So that's it for now. All the best for your preparations, and thank you. And prepare 50% faster with iExamB. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and press the bell icon. And also, for any information you can contact on any of these details for any of the courses provided by us. And also you can register for certain significant workshops happening by the esteemed faculty members. Like this is about SEBI notification, where many candidates are very concerned about. So this will be a very relevant session for you. You can see the registration link in the description. Thank you so much.